Hey there, happy first day of spring. I hope you're having an amazing Monday evening it is now. And I'm so excited for this spring and for springing forward or springing again. And I want to talk about beginning again. But before I start, I am Kim Dixon, if I haven't met you. I'm a leadership and business development partner, and I help organizations add leadership tools to their toolkit. I also work with courageous leaders who are ready to reposition themselves into their next divine assignment. I myself have repositioned myself several years back. I worked in retail leadership, led a span of about 2,000 employees, managed about $500 million in retail assets, and I repositioned into leadership coaching and business development and consulting. And I'm very excited about that today. And this week, I'm pretty much talking a lot about the topic of falling back in love with your business or your career and really restoring that relationship, because a lot of people started business several years back or 5 years back, maybe a year ago. And maybe you started off with a bang and now you're finding yourself losing momentum, not being motivated, or just having some challenges in getting back started post-pandemic. So there is something that you can do to get yourself refocused back to your why, reinvigorated, and restarted on that thing that you know that you're called to do. Let me take a moment to just share this to my group to make sure that it's shared there, so that they can take advantage of it. And if you'd like to join us in the group is Iron Sharpens Iron. And it literally is that we are committed to supporting and sharpening one another. We have some great superstars, some great leaders, all different areas of expertise. And we are committed to helping each other reach next level success in our own divine assignments. And again, the group is Iron Sharpens Iron. And you can request to join. I'm just going to take a second to make sure that I am live there. So it is the first day of spring. We are springing forward. Are you springing forward? Let me know that you're springing forward and say, hey, when you join, so that I know that you're here with me this evening as we talk a little bit about the first day of spring and beginning again, like giving ourselves permission to begin again. That's really what spring is. Spring is a new beginning, right? Spring is the time that a lot of plants and vegetables, fruit have been dormant, or they have been going through the process, and now they're beginning again. You know, those seeds that we planted are breaking through ground. They're coming up through the dirt and through the mud and the sludge, and they're fighting their way to the surface to begin again. And you might be fighting your way to the surface to begin again in your business, your career, and your level of leadership as you're taking yourself to the next level of leadership. You might be beginning again. You might be refocusing. You might be restoring your relationship with your business. You might be resetting. You might be reorganizing. You might be repositioning yourself. You know, a lot of people reposition themselves from one area to another area as we do outgrow some of those areas. There may be something that you've done for many, many years, and now you've decided to step into another area. Let me know if you can identify with that, and now you're repositioning yourself. You're beginning again. And you might think that you're beginning again means that, you know, you're a failure, but it doesn't mean that you're a failure, because life is just a whole bunch of beginnings over and over. We're always beginning over and over. As we grow and we step into that next level, we're just beginning over and over and over. And really, it reminds me of an organization or a product for Formula 409. If you remember that product, Formula 409, it's a cleaning product. Did you know that the name Formula 409 represents the 409 tries that it took to really get this formula to a place that it was perfected, that they felt that it was ready to go? 409 tries. Now, you might think they had 408 fails, but maybe they just had 408 opportunities where they really came back and tried again. And they didn't give up. They came back and tried again. And they began again. Doesn't mean that they ended or they failed. You know, like when you're in chemistry and you're creating something, it's just about a bunch of tries. So they began again. Like spring comes all the way back around again. Formula 409 began again. Like, will you give something 408 tries? And once they got it going, this company was phenomenal. It ended up selling that formula to Clorox for a lot of money. So will you begin again? Will you take the opportunity to step out again? Will you take the opportunity to lift up again? Will you take the opportunity to put yourself out there again? Because it is perfectly okay to start over. It is perfectly okay to start again, right? Because we're actually not starting over. Let me correct that. We're starting with the information that we've learned on the last round. We're starting with sometimes new information. Sometimes it's a restated information. Sometimes it's lessons that we had to learn or lessons that we had to relearn. So we're actually not starting fresh. We're starting with the information, and we're starting with the lessons, and we're starting with the experience that we have. So our beginning again today is not exactly as our beginning again 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or even before 2020. Like our beginning again in 2019 will be different from our beginning again today, because we have all learned something. You know, the Bible says to everything there is a season. You know, there's a season to plant and a season to pull up what has been planted. So I know that, like me, you have planted many seeds. Let me know if you can identify and you are with me. You have planted many seeds. And as we spring forward and our first day of spring, and as we begin again, we will start to see those seeds turn into seedlings, turn into flowers, turn into fruit, turn into plants, turn into trees, right? We'll start to see those things, but those things have to go through a process. And we have to learn to trust the process. Like the process of planting is an actual process, and you won't see the results for a while. You won't see the fruit for a while. Even the first, when you start to see something peek from through the dirt and the mud, sometimes you got to go through the dirt and the mud. It'll be a while before we actually see the fruit. You know, in 2020, I planted some fruit and some vegetables, and I planted I have a potted actually orange tree. And the process that this tree has went through has been amazing for me. And it's really teaching me to trust the process. You know, it started with a little bud and then a flower, and then that bud turned into a little hard, look like a lime, and then it has grown through the process of becoming an orange. And then guess what it does? It starts the whole process over again. So it's okay to begin again, right? You begin again, and then when it begins again, it begins with the stronger soil. It begins with the process that's already been set. Now I know exactly where to put it so it can get the sunlight that it needs. So we have to trust the process as we begin again. And I believe that we have to trust God's plan and know that He's already seen the end from the beginning. He's seen the last page and he already knows that we succeeded. So in the interim, we have to trust the process, right? By starting anew, it doesn't mean that we haven't gained from how far we've come. So if you have a business that you have started, and maybe you started with a bang and you came out the gate and everything was going phenomenal, and then some struggles hit, or then your mindset changed, or you got distracted, you got interrupted, you thought it was going to go one way, but it went another way. I want to encourage you and invite you to begin again, to take the steps that you know that were proven, that worked, and do those proven steps. And those steps that didn't work, I want to encourage you to make the course correction that you need to make. Make the slight adjustments that you need to make, and recommit to that thing. Recommit to the dream that you had. Recommit to that thing that you were building, that you knew you were on the right path. I want to come to confirm that you're on the right path. And I want you to give your own self the permission, because you don't need someone else's permission. Permission granted to begin again, to reinvest, to reinvigorate, to fall back in love with that thing that you know you were on the right path. So it could be that you were building a business and you ran into some roadblocks. I mean, anybody else ever ran into some roadblocks? I know that I have. Right? Maybe you ran into some roadblocks and it has discouraged you, or it has you a little weary because things didn't turn out exactly the way you wanted it to. Maybe you invested a lot of money and you even lost some money in the process, but that's okay. Money is a cycle. It's an ever-flowing river, and it can be replaced. I want to encourage you tonight to begin again, to start again, to step out again, to encourage yourself to show up again, right? That's what I'm doing tonight. I'm showing up again. I used to do video years ago, and I stopped, and I was on a different path, and I was encouraged to come back and do live video on Facebook, to begin again, right? So I have to build up that following on the live video, and that's okay, because I don't do it. I know that it's a divine assignment for me. And I want to encourage you. Can you begin again? Are you courageous enough to begin again, regardless of what they might think or what they might say? Are you strong enough to begin again, regardless of how hard the journey may be, how many steps you have to take to climb this new mountain? Are you faithful enough to begin again? Not seeing, like Martin Luther King says, you don't see all the steps, but you see the step in front of you. Are you faithful enough to take that first step? And not even that first step, because you probably already took that first step. But are you faithful enough to take the next step? You know, the next step, the one that you don't want to take. Like the one like for me, like pressing live, go live. And I know it might seem like, oh, you don't have a problem going live. Yeah, I have the same struggles as anyone else. My dog just confirmed it. You know, pressing that button to go live, that okay, let's begin again. Let's start this thing over, because, you know, the plan, the ultimate plan doesn't change. Just waiting for us to show up to say, okay, here I am. Use me. I'm ready now. I'm ready to step out now. I'm ready to step into this thing now. I'm ready to show up as my best self. And let's do what we're going to do. So what is it that you need to begin again? Can you be courageous enough to just drop that in the chat? What is it that, in the comment, what is it that you need to begin again? What is it that you've been holding off? What step is it that you are supposed to be taking as we spring forward, today being the first day of spring, and as we step into our second quarter of 2023. So this week, or in the next 2 weeks, right? Next 10 days or so, we're going to be ending the first quarter of 2023. And however you have ended the first quarter of 2023, then it is what it is. So if you have fantastic results in the first quarter of 2023, then have you had okay results in the first quarter of 2023? Have you had poor results in the first quarter of 2023? It is what it is. Although you still have 10 days to make an impact, right? So a lot of my experiences in retail leadership, you see those Home Depot aprons hanging on the wall. This is just the angle that I have today. And I spent 23 years working for that organization, from a cashier to from the register to the regional office is what I say. And I had a great career there, phenomenal company, and I met a lot of phenomenal people. And if you're one, say hello. And I have connected with, been led by, been mentored by, and mentored phenomenal individuals. But at some point, you have to step out and begin again. right? At some point, you have to begin again, and you have to decide that now is my time to reposition, and now is my time to recommit. Do you need to recommit? Now is my time to refocus. Do you need to refocus because you've been distracted by all the bright and shiny things around you? If you do, then this is your call to action right here. This video is your call to action that now is the time that you can begin again. You can start again. You can step out again. The dream is still there. It's still valid. You're not too old. You're not too late. If you're still alive, you're hearing me, so you're still alive. You still have breath in you. You still have drive in you because you're on this social site, because you still have focus in you. You still have drive in you. You still have something that you know that you are to accomplish in this lifetime. You know, I heard a woman say that her goal was to leave this earth empty. That her goal is to achieve all the things that she's supposed to achieve, no matter how little, no matter how large, no matter how grand or how minute someone may think it is, but to leave this earth empty, meaning that anything that you have a thought that you would like to do in this lifetime, to actually step out and do it. If you feel like you want to go out and take dance lessons, if you feel like you want to go and drive the fastest car, if you want to do whatever it is that you desire that you want to do, you can always shift and begin again. You can always decide that, you know what, now is the time that I get to do X, Y, Z. Right? Some of us have retired. I retired from retail, but some of us have retired. And I just want to encourage you that, you know, that's the time you can reposition. There is a lot of life left in you, and there's a lot of wisdom that you can give to others. And it is not to be held and to not expose others to the wisdom that you have gained. So I want you to take this opportunity as we spring forward and prepare yourself for the second quarter of 2023 and make a conscious decision to begin again. If you need support in the journey, then that is why you have connected with me today. It's not by happenstance that you have connected with me today. I'm here to support you. Time to spring forward and begin again.